Hey guys, what's going on? The Brotaku coming at you back with another video today. I know it's been a while since my last one, but I have an explanation. Anyway, back here with another video for you all guys. Another Brotaku Rants video. Continue on that series from last time. Like I said, I wanted to do a series with this, and I was serious about that. But anyways, today I have an interesting thing I want to talk and share with you guys my thoughts and opinions on, and that is the MCU, the glorious Marvel Cinematic Universe. Oh boy. Talk about something that I just absolutely love. Now, there are some movies in that I don't particularly like, mainly near the end, but we'll get to all of that later in a bit. But for any of you who don't know, who have been living under a rock, or just don't know for whatever reason, the MCU is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is basically this entire cinematic universe, a bunch of movies, like basically all connected together in the same exact universe. They're all based on Marvel's superheroes and comic book characters like Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Hulk, the Guardians of the Galaxy, all these really big and cool comic book characters and everything. And man, I remember when the MCU first got started. I remember when I was little and seeing the very first Iron Man, and I loved it. I thought it was so cool. And then even seeing, and then after that, seeing the Hulk movie, and then the first ever after credit scene that basically kicked off the MCU and made it to where it's all connected with the ending credit scene in Hulk with General Ross in the bar or whatever, and you have Tony Stark coming in and talking to him about, I'm looking for people, put together a team or whatever, basically along those lines. And that was basically the signaling for that. We're eventually going to get Avengers, and then eventually we did, and we got all the other movies to go with the Avengers, like Captain America and all that, and Thor. Oh man. Especially as a little kid, being a big fan of superheroes. As a little kid, I never really read comics or anything, but I was still a huge superhero fan, whether it be from DC with Batman and Superman, Green Lantern, all those people, or, like I said, the superheroes from Marvel. It was just, I loved superheroes. I mean, how can you not? The idea is so cool, and some of them are so cool and relatable and have so many cool powers and designs and everything. It's just as a little kid, how can you not like superheroes? But anyways, yeah, I just remember those fond moments of the MCU getting kicked off, started, and then getting all those movies. It was and then in the years to come, when we eventually got the first Avengers movie, it was a dream come true. Man, I could still remember how big that was. Trying to get into see Avengers was such a hard thing, because it was always sold out, and our movie theater, every time we would go, there were lines, massive lines outside the door, going around the building. It was crazy, because it was such a huge, big thing for a lot of people. And it was just so cool that we finally have all these really awesome and cool superhero movies that are all connected into a universe. They're not separated. So you get to see all your favorite Marvel characters interacting with each other. That was honestly the best part of the MCU, was seeing all the different characters and all your favorites interact with each other, and how would they interact. It was so cool. Man, and just, on all the movies were just great. Not all of them. There are some there's only one or two that I really just don't like, I think are bad, but rest of them are just so amazing and just so fun and always an entertaining watch. And then how after getting so many movies in the MCU, I was able to basically go past just being movies, and then you got like the Netflix shows and everything, and then on Disney Plus now you got even more shows like WandaVision and soon to be coming Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's really nice, honestly. I wish DC sort of had the same like success that Marvel did, but I don't know, Marvel just they sort of got to it first and they did it so well. And the problem with DC is they tried to just basically blatantly copy them and rush to get to the shared universe and like to their with Justice League and everything. And it's sad because I really love DC too, and they have a lot of awesome superheroes, and it would have been nice to see basically DC also pull off what the MCU did. It really would have. But anyways, enough talk about these. This is an MCU video. Why am I talking about their competition? Anyways, but yeah, and man, I remember even like I would go to like or try to go to like midnight premieres of some of the movies. Like I remember me and two of my friends went to the midnight premiere of the first Guardians of the Galaxy. And that was such an awesome time. Just so cool, honestly. And just as a fan, getting hyped for every consecutive movie that was coming out in the future and seeing like, oh, what's the next group or character they're going to make a movie out of. It was so cool. And also getting really big exposure for like characters that really weren't that big or famous at the time. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Tell me who like knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy before they had their MCU movie. I bet practically nobody, except for like the die-hard Marvel comic book fans, knew truly who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. When they had their first movie come out, I really wasn't into comics and only into the basic knowledge of superheroes at the time, and I didn't know who they were. But after seeing the movie, I was like, oh yeah, these guys are so awesome. And then I got more into knowing the characters in the comics and their stories and the knowledge, and ended up finding out about even more new characters that didn't have movies or that still don't have movies. It's just seriously, like, I don't know how many times I could say it, but what the MCU did was truly groundbreaking in my opinion and truly awesome. But anyways, you're probably sitting here like, Brotaku, what are some of like your favorite MCU movies? You're probably not like that at all. You probably don't care at all what my opinion is on the MCU, if I like it or hate it, or what my favorite movies are. You're probably just watching this video like, I got nothing better to do. Just check out this random guy in his dumb YouTube video. But I would have to say some of my favorites are definitely like all the Avengers movies. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are so fun. And Captain America Civil War and the Spider-Man movies basically are some of my top favorites. And funny how some of my top favorites are basically the movies with a bunch of characters in it and having a bunch of interactions, i.e. the Avengers and like Cap Civil War and Guardians of the Galaxy, stuff like that. In fact, if we want to know my all-time favorite Marvel movie, my number one, is probably Guardians 2, in my opinion. I don't know if that's like an unpopular opinion or anything, or I'm in the minority in that. Like, majority prefer Guardians 1 over 2, but I would have to say Guardians 2 is definitely my favorite out of all the MCU movies. It just I enjoy it so much. It's so much fun seeing the character interactions and the bonding between the Guardians and everything. It's just so nice. And yes, I'm trying to keep away from spoilers if possible, in case there's that one or few random people watching this that haven't seen an MCU video or a movie and they plan to. But maybe I should throw out the spoiler warning just in case I do by accident. So I know this is kind of late in the video, but spoiler warning. In case I geek out too hard and say a spoiler thing, I'm sorry, but spoiler warning, that's your moment. But I'll try my best, okay? Anyways, just, yeah, it's just so crazy what they were able to do and accomplish. And, man, let's not even talk about all the amazing Stan Lee cameos, like, rest his soul and everything, and rest in peace, good sir. Like, you have done so much for not only me, but so many other people, and just, I think it was so cool. The most amazingest thing ever, just as basically the father of Marvel, basically, and just including him however they could as cameos in basically every movie. It was so cool. It was so cool, okay? To get that, like, actual creator and father of Marvel Comics involved and always, you know, in there in the movies. Normally that doesn't, like, ever happen. And that's just, always the Stan Lee cameos were, like, always one of the big highlights of a Marvel movie, because you're like, oh, how's he gonna appear, you know, and how are they gonna do it? And it was always the most lighthearted and funny things, too. But yeah, maybe I should also, since I talked about my favorites, I should probably go on to my least favorite. Because there's always, no matter how positive you can make a video, there's always going to be that negative drop. Anyways, I don't really have to say Thor 2 or Thor the Dark World. Not a big fan of that one. In fact, the first Thor is okay. Second Thor, not really. Thor Ragnarok, definitely a lot better and fun and enjoyable. I don't love it as much as other people do, excuse me. But it's still really good. Captain Marvel, I'm sorry, I just don't like it. I just don't see the appeal. I don't like it. It's not my type of thing. If you like it, cool. I'm not gonna sit here and berate you and tell you it's a stupid opinion. How dare you like something I don't like? But this is not mine. What are some other ones? First Captain America, it's okay. Maybe I should just go through, like, sort of the timeline and just rank, like, the Marvel movies. Because we got time to kill. Yeah. I'd see why not. But yeah, so what was the Iron Man? The very first Iron Man. Oh. I really do love it, honestly. The first, like, literally, like, the first MCU movie and the one that kicked off, basically, the MCU, sort of. Iron Man 1, I honestly love. Like, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, the Iron Man. You could have not gotten a more perfect person to play that role. He is literally, every time I see Robert Downey Jr. now, it's Iron Man, 100%. I literally think there's no way you could ever replace him. Like, you can, but there's no one who's ever going to be good as Robert Downey, in my opinion. He is just so good. He literally looks like Tony Stark from the comic books every time he's on screen, and I love it. He literally is Tony Stark brought to life, and it's so cool. I love him. And the Iron Man suits in the movie just look amazing and everything. The villain, kind of bad, garbage, but it's whatever. It was the first ever big MCU movie, so it's fun. What was the next? Hulk, right? Personally, I I like it, okay? I like the Hulk movie. I honestly wish they would try and go back and do another Hulk movie now, especially with they pretty much have settled on a definitive Hulk actor with Mark Ruffalo. I would love to see them try again at a new Hulk movie. I think he honestly deserves it. He's an Avenger. He's one of the founding members of the Avengers there. One of the first. He was with Captain America and Iron Man and Thor and Black Widow and Hawkeye. Go on. He deserves it. Show the Green Goliath some love. I would love to see a new Hulk movie. Or at least try. Please, Marvel, please. But anyway, I liked Hulk, really. I haven't liked the actor before that played in the first Hulk movie. Not the first, but the second. The MCU Hulk movie. And I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I'd have to, look it up. But I really did like it. Especially the fight at the end between Hulk and Abomination. I wish it just wasn't so much of basically a stomp fest with Abomination beating Hulk until the end. And then Hulk, no pun intended, hulks up and then pounds Abomination. But still, I like it. It's enjoyable. Like I said, the Hulk movie and the Hulk Abomination fight at the end was really good. Especially when you get the scene where you Hulk smash. I'm like, oh, that's what I marked out as a little kid, and I geeked out. I'm like, oh my god, he said the thing. He said the catchphrase. It was really cool. Then what was after that? I think it was Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2. It was fine, honestly. Do I like it more than Iron Man 1? No. I think it's slightly below Iron Man 1, but it introduces War Machine, if nothing else, in the movie, and basically has a huge character development arc for Tony in the movie and everything, where he's basically just doesn't care and everything, and super reckless and everything, and the part where they say, I don't think you're qualified for the Avengers anymore, and he basically goes through and reforms himself as being a better man and everything, and taking stuff seriously. I think I really like Iron Man 2, but not better than Iron Man 1, in my opinion. Slightly lower. The coolest thing about it is the introduction of his partner, War Machine, aka Brody. Or Rhodey, sorry. Anyways, after that, it was Thor, the first Thor, if I remember correctly. It's not my favorite out of all the Thor movies, probably my second favorite, as I was saying earlier, but it was cool finally seeing, a big Thor movie like this, and to me, the way with Chris Hemsworth, casted as Thor, really amazing decision. I mean, they really made him look like Thor. Like, really. At first, it kind of weirded me out, because it was like, he has a beard and everything, but, because I'm, used to the normal old-school Thor with, the blue pants and the yellow boots and everything, and the winged helmet, but it was a more, modern design Thor and everything, or I think it's from a design from the comic books, if I remember correctly. Sorry, my memory is a little, I'm focusing on the video, but Chris Hemsworth was a really good pick, honestly. They made him, just like Tony Stark, in my opinion, they made him basically like Thor had come to life off the comic books and in real life. And to me, there's no one who could play Thor like Chris Hemsworth. I think he is the de facto Thor now, forever, in my mind, at least. So, yeah, Thor, really good job, especially Asgard. Oh, I love Asgard. Seeing it was so cool. And, of course, Loki, the first big bad of, Phase 1 of the MCU, Tom Hiddleston as Loki is really fantastic. I'm not a Loki fanboy, and he's not even like my favorite villain, but did a good job. He is Loki. He is Loki brought to life, just like Chris Hemsworth with Thor and Robert Downey with Iron Man. So good on you. Next was it Captain America? I believe it was the first Captain America, the first Avenger. At least I think. I'm probably getting my timeline wrong and mixed up, but you'll forgive me have to forgive me. At least I hope you will, because it's been a long time since I've seen the movies, and I've always been kind of rusty on the knowledge of the timeline and everything, so. But the first Captain America was really good. I enjoyed it. Chris Evans, formerly the Human Torch from Fantastic Four, now Mr. America himself, Captain America. Really good movie. I liked it. Red Skull as a villain, kind of boring, honestly. I know he's the de facto, like, Captain America villain, and his main, like, villain, but I don't know. I mean, it was enjoyable and everything, but that's all I could say. It was just enjoyable. I wouldn't, like, say, like, it was a blast or anything, or it was so cool and everything. I enjoyed it for what it was, and it was really nice seeing Captain America get a really good movie in the modern times now. Because let's not remember his past movie. But anyways, yeah, then after that, I believe came the first Avengers. And my god, to say the first Avengers was such a big deal was an understatement. Like I said, there were literally, every time we went to go to my movie theaters to try to get into a showing of it, there were literally lines outside the door around the building. It was crazy. It was ridiculous. But for good reason. I mean, it was the first time we're seeing all these characters, our favorite superheroes, come together and interact for, like, the first time. It was so cool. But yeah, the first Avengers, I love it. Is it my favorite of the Avengers? No, but I still love it either way. Like, the interactions between all the characters, like Captain America and Iron Man, finally getting Hulk in there, the new Hulk, with Mark Ruffalo. It was so cool. Loki as the villain was with the Chitauri alien race at the end. It was cool, honestly. I don't know. Like I said, Loki's not my favorite villain, but I like him. It was cool. And of course, like, the big action set piece with all the Avengers taking on the Chitauri at the end was when that happened, was so cool. Especially when you have the round shot of all the Avengers together and they're posed up, and you have the epic Avengers theme playing, the da da da. It was like, as a comic book fan, I lost my mind when that happened. I literally lost my shit when that happened. I was like, this is real. And it was just so cool, honestly. But yeah, first Avengers was really awesome. Not my favorite, but to finally see Avengers happening and all these characters coming together was just amazing. And after that, I believe it was it Thor 2? Thor 2 or Iron Man 3. I believe it was Thor 2. Thor 2, like I said, not one of my favorite Marvel movies. Pretty low on the ladder. And the villains, the Dark Elves and all that, Malekith or whatever his name was, boring, uninteresting, not cool at all. No, I just don't like Thor 2, The Dark World. Kind of really boring in my opinion, but And then Iron Man 3, I believe. Or was that after Age of Ultron? No, it was before. Okay. Either way, if I'm getting the timeline wrong, I don't care. Iron Man 3, probably my least favorite of the Iron Man. Especially with the villain. It's just an evil businessman. But he has, like, heat powers or something. Like, he could superheat himself. And he has, like, superhuman strength or something like that. Like, I mean, the scene at the end, the action scene at the end with all the, when Tony calls in all the armor, different, various Iron Man armors was cool. Wish we got to see more of the different armors in action. Like, at least maybe a shot or two of all the different armors doing something. But besides that, nah. I mean, it's okay, but like I said, the villain is just garbage, and yeah. After that, Captain America the Winter Soldier, I believe? Would I rank it? Yeah, I enjoy Winter Soldier. Above the first one? Yeah. Because I think Winter Soldier, aka Bucky, as a villain was kind of better than Skull, in my opinion. Especially the big, last action scenes at the end with Falcon and his jetpack wing things flying through supersonic speed, all the helicarriers and everything was so cool, and Captain America's fight scene with Winter Soldier was really cool and enjoyable too. Especially, and I remember seeing the trailers for Winter Soldier when it dropped, when at the end, Cap throws the shield at Bucky, and Bucky just turns around and catches it. That's the oh shit moment. The one where, if you're a reaction channel, and you see that movie, you go oh shit, or you, hands on head and go, what? I can't believe it. But, yeah, I would rank Winter Soldier higher above the first Captain America. And I pretty much enjoyed it. And like I said, I really like Bucky and Winter Soldier. A.K.A. Winter Soldier, I think, does a better job as a villain than Red Skull. I guess is Winter Soldier plus Hydra. Anyways. What was next? Guardians, right? The very first Guardians? I believe so? Yeah. Probably out of order, but I know first Guardians comes before Age of Ultron. At least I'm 95% sure. First Guardians, I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I said, I went to a midnight premiere with two friends, and I loved it. One of the funniest Marvel movies, and most charming and endearing Marvel movies, in my opinion, easy. Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. He is Star-Lord. He is the character Star-Lord Peter Quill brought to life. He does a fantastic job. He is so funny, too, and so likable. Gamora, she's a badass. She is cool. I love her. Dave Bautista, the animal, as Drax. He's cool too. He has a funny line, a few funny lines in there, but I think he really shines and really becomes one of the stars in the second one. In the first one, he's cool. I enjoy him, and he has a few funny lines, like I said. But in the first one, my all-time favorites are Groot and Rocket. Especially Rocket. Groot, with Vin Diesel, I am Groot. Really good. I love Groot. He's so likable and charming. Especially for a character that just says one phrase over and over again. I like him. Groot's cool. Especially at the time when I didn't know who the Guardians were, really. And this was basically my first introduction and impressions of them. Really liked it. It was awesome. And like I said, the star of the first one for me was Rocket. Rocket was so likable and so funny, honestly, in my opinion. He was so cool, too. I love Rocket. He was, like, my favorite out of the first one. Easy. Easy. And yeah, I really love the first Guardians, like I said. Guardians 2 is better, but Guardians 1 is still really, really damn good. Like, if you wanted a lighthearted Marvel movie that's gonna make you smile and laugh and just have a good time, the Guardians movies are the best at that, in my opinion. Then, I believe, we move on to Avengers Age of Ultron. I believe so. And Age of Ultron used to be, at the time, when I first saw it, I thought it was my favorite Avengers. I think it's probably, like, my second favorite? Not my number one, but my second favorite. I really like it, honestly. Especially because I think Ultron as a villain, I like Ultron as a villain way more than Loki, in my opinion. Because they managed to make Ultron interesting and funny at sometimes too, and just he had more for a robot. He had a lot of personality, honestly, in my opinion. I really liked Ultron. I like him more as a villain more than Tom Hiddleston, in my opinion. Like, Ultron is one of the main things why I like Avengers Age of Ultron so much. So they did really good with Ultron, in my opinion. Plus, seeing the Hulkbuster in action was amazing, and man, it was just so cool. And you had the added additions of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, which was cool. But yeah, then after that, what was next? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. Anyways, forget timeline. Let's just go through all the movies. Captain America Civil War. I love Captain America Civil War. Getting the long-awaited introduction of Black Panther, Spider-Man. It was so cool, honestly. To see finally Spidey join the MCU after all his other movies. It was so cool to finally see Spider-Man, like, probably one of my all-time favorite superheroes, finally in there together with all these other superheroes. It was so cool, and the new guy they got to play him, Tom Holland, really damn good Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Like, he does both. He does both really well. Because before we had the Sam Raimi with Tobey Maguire and the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. And always before, my friends and me would have these conversations of, we think Tobey Maguire did a better Peter Parker, but Andrew Garfield nailed the Spider-Man personality better. But Tom Holland manages to nail both personalities better, the Peter Parker part and the Spider-Man part. At least I think so, in my opinion. Black Panther, getting the introduction of Black Panther was super cool and awesome too. Like, I love Black Panther. He's so cool. He was so cool. And yeah, it was just so. It was also so cool to see and awesome to see our favorite superheroes like going against each other and clashing at each other. Because we always, as fans, like have these fantasy battles in our head of, well, what if Captain America fought Black Widow or something like that? What if Iron Man fought against, So it was basically sort of that thing. And plus, like, I remember playing, like, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 back in the day, and the premise of that game was the Civil War storyline from the comics, with Captain America, one side Captain America, one side Iron Man. Then you also have the other superheroes that are siding with them, and they clash heads and clash and fight against each other. I think always superheroes clashing with each other and having fights with each other is always going to be a cool thing and always awesome. Then we have Ant-Man. I really like the first Ant-Man. I think 2's better in my opinion, but I really think they did with a really awesome job with Scott Lang, or Paul Rudd as Scott Lang. I was surprised that they didn't have it be Hank Pym, but having Hank be the mentor and Scott be the actual Ant-Man, I think after seeing the movie, what they did with it, I was okay with it. I liked it. I really did like it. What are some other ones? Guardians 2, like I said, is my favorite all-time Marvel movie. It is so fun. It is so funny, and the interactions between all the different Guardians is so awesome and everything, and you feel for all of them and everything, and them growing closer together, basically, and becoming like a family, more than friends, is just so cool and awesome to see and everything. Like, the interactions between them all in that movie are some of the best, in my opinion. And like I said, Drax is the star of at least one of the stars of Guardians 2, in my opinion, because he has some of the funniest lines in this movie. Easy. He used to be Rocket in the first one, now Drax in Guardians 2 with some of the funniest lines, in my opinion. Oh my god, Dave Bautista nailed it as Drax in Guardians 2. He was so hilarious. Then you got Thor Ragnarok. Really enjoy it. My favorite of the Thor movies. It was just really cool, honestly. Having Hulk in there too. Sorry, I was blanking for a second, but having Hulk in there was cool. The Gladiator Coliseum, Planet Sakaar, I believe it was, from like the Planet Hulk storyline, with Hulk in the like Planet Hulk Gladiator armor and stuff, fighting against Thor. Especially since they've always had like a little, I guess, like thing against each other. It was cool. It was super enjoyable. The villain, she was okay, Hela. She was okay. Not the best, but she was okay. She was fine. What else? Ant-Man 2. I like Ant-Man 2 more than the first one. The addition of Wasp was really cool. I think they work all really well off of each other. And the whole premise of them getting Hope and Hope's mom back and Hank's wife was, I think, really cool. And some of the action scenes and moments in it are just really cool. Are just really cool, like with the size changing and everything. What they do in the combat and the action scenes are like just really enjoyable and fun to watch, in my opinion. And they do it way better here in Ant-Man 2 than in 1, in my opinion. At least I think so. And then, trying to remember, the first Spider-Man, right? First Spider-Man was really enjoyable. Like I said, Tom Holland as Peter Parker and Spider-Man nailed it. He's awesome. I wish there was a bit more. I think they could have. Some of the action scenes are cool, but I kind of would have liked to see more of, I don't know, Spider-Man fighting, I guess. There weren't that many fight scenes in that, or action scenes, or just like Spider-Man ziplining and web swinging through the city or whatever. I mean, because that's one of the biggest draws to Spider-Man for me, is like seeing him web swing and web zip through cities is so cool. But I don't know, that's just me. Then you have Doctor Strange. I almost forgot Doctor Strange. I really like it. It's awesome. The visuals are awesome. The trippy ass scenery and everything. And Benedict Cumberbatch really nailed. I didn't think he would be good as Doctor Strange, but lo and behold, I'm proven wrong again. And I watched the movie, and he nails it. He is Dr. Stephen Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme. He is the comic book character brought to life. He nailed it as Doctor Strange. The villain, whatever. Dormammu was in there, but he was like, he looked weird and, no, just, I don't know, if they ever do a Doctor Strange 2, which I think they are, they should have Dormammu be the main villain, in my opinion, or Baron Mordo, actually. I think he's probably going to be the next villain if they do a Doctor Strange 2. But anyways, really enjoyed Doctor Strange. Because I really enjoy him as a character too. I think he's so cool, like the mystics and the sorcery powers, I think are so cool and interesting. Black Panther. Really cool, really enjoyable. Villain Killmonger is really cool too. Like, and you feel for the guy and everything, and he's not just a generic, I want to rule the world because I'm evil and everything. Like, no, he has really legitimate reasons for doing what he wants to do, and I like it. I really like T'Challa too. He's super cool as a character, and the Black Panther suit is really awesome and everything. And Wakanda is super interesting and cool to look at too. It's just, Black Panther was super, super good, honestly. Then we move on to Infinity War. Unless I'm forgetting one, which I don't think I am, I might be. But if I am, I'm sorry, you can yell at me and roast me in the comment section. But Infinity War was basically the oh shit moment. Like, we're getting so close to the end because we have the big introduction, finally, of big baddie purple Thanos coming in, finally doing his thing, especially at the beginning of Endgame when he takes out the Asgardian ship and kills Loki, and basically beats down Hulk, which I think is kind of like, beats down Hulk so bad where Hulk is scared to fight him, and like, that kind of hurt, because I would have loved to see a big, like, destructive all-out brawl between Thanos and Hulk. And don't get me wrong, Thanos is strong, but barehanded beating down Hulk, no, sorry, I just don't see it. Hulk is incredibly strong and freakish and mind-blowingly powerful. Like, no, I don't see it. But they probably just did it to build up Thanos as a huge overthreat. Like, oh my god, even the Hulk can't beat him. He manhandled the Hulk, but whatever. But yeah, Infinity War was really awesome. They did Thanos really well. Like, they gave him, like, a good reason for him, or a believable reason for him doing what he's doing, honestly. Like, a more human reason. Like, besides from the comics where it was just like, I'm in love with death, so I'm just gonna, to please her, I'm gonna go kill everyone! Woohoo! No, they did it better. They did it better in the Infinity War, in my opinion. And the massive battle at the end, especially, with against Thanos' forces, was really cool. And seeing the Guardians come in too, and basically only interact with Thor, but still, it was really cool. Oh no, they interacted with Spider-Man and Iron Man too. I'm sorry, I forgot. I was blanking for a second. But yeah, it was so cool. Finally, we're seeing basically every character come together, interact with each other. And it was, as a comic book fan, as a superhero comic book fan, it was like the best thing ever. It was so awesome. Then we get to Captain Marvel. We hit the lowest low point in MCU. Simple as that. It is my least favorite movie for reasons, I'll just say, and I will just say I don't particularly care for it. Moving on. Then I believe we wrap it all up, or at least my journey with the MCU pretty much wraps it all up with Endgame. This multi-year journey with these characters and all these movies, to me, finally comes to an end with Endgame. And it was a pretty damn good journey. And Endgame, to me, was a really big deal at the time because it was basically the end of my MCU journey. And with all these characters, and Endgame, maybe not the best Avengers, it was still incredibly awesome. Honestly, everything they go through in the movie, all the character interactions, the growth, all the action scenes, everything, the journey to get back the Infinity Stones and bring everyone back, and really just a bunch of heartfelt tearjerker moments in there. There were a lot in Infinity War too, but there were also a lot in Endgame too. And the big out brawl scene between all the superheroes on one side and Thanos and his forces all on the other side was amazing. Probably one of my favorite action scenes of all time, or set pieces, I guess, whatever the term is. But yeah, I mean, you basically see everyone gets to do something. And the end bit with Iron Man with the gems, the I am Iron Man, his most badass moment in all the movies. And yes, it was a sad tearjerker moment when Iron Man passed away and everything, but honestly, I think he deserved it, and it was a really cool, basically honoring of the character and everything. It was so cool. And also with Steve Rogers, Captain America, what they did with him, and how he went back in time but chose to stay, and now he's an old man and he passes on the shield to Falcon, was also another really cool way of basically passing on the torch to the next generation on these new superheroes, I think. And it was really cool. Basically saying we're done with Iron Man's story and we're done with Cap's story. And they both, I think, concluded them and ended them in really cool and enjoyable ways, in my opinion. Iron Man, the best, in my opinion. He went out like a badass. And basically saved the whole universe from Thanos. And it was really awesome and cool, and manly tears were cried that day when I saw that. So yeah, video's going on pretty long, so maybe I should wrap this up. But yeah, Endgame, to me, that was the end of my MCU journey. I saw the newest Spider-Man, Far From Home, I believe it is. And I've also seen the series WandaVision. But probably the last MCU movie I'm really gonna be go out and probably see. Well, not go out, but want to see is the Black Widow movie. After that, I mean, I'm not gonna stop watching them. I'm not gonna be super as invested or excited as I once was before, because like I said, in my mind, my MCU journey ended at Endgame. That was the perfect ending and finale to this multi-year journey with all these characters and movies, in my opinion. And I know they're gonna keep making more, because as long as there's money to be made, they're gonna keep making more and more and continuing it on. But to me, it's so how do you top that? How do you top Infinity War and Endgame? Especially as the ultimate big bad, how do you top Thanos? He is the ultimate big baddie, in my opinion. And we already used him and he's gone and done with. So, I don't know. Like I said, mine finished at Endgame. You can continue watching all yours, the series, the movies, whatever. Like I said, my personal invested journey with the MCU ended at Endgame. That's just my opinion. But yeah, thank you if you watched to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it for sticking with me through this long talk and long video. But I hope I was able to express my huge love and enamoration with the MCU and why I love it so much, and my long, heartfelt journey with this series. And yeah, it was just so amazing as this massive superhero fan. It was so amazing. And now that it's basically kind of over for me, it's just, you get a little, your heart sinks a little bit inside, in my opinion, and I get a little bit down sometimes, but I can always go back and watch those movies and basically sort of relive those times, but it's never going to hit as hard when you see them for the first time ever and experiencing those feelings for the first time. But yeah, thank you for so much for watching till the end. I know it's a long video, but the MCU means so much to me that I couldn't just not have it be like a few minute video. But anyways, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll be back with more videos in the future with the Brotaku Rants series. See you guys later. Have a good one.